Hi, ascending souls on planet Earth right now. I am here to talk about Ascension. There's been some very, very big shifts happening now. First, I'll begin by sharing some of my story, how I got to this point. My path that led me here. I experienced massive amounts of trauma. I don't need to get into the stories because they don't actually exist anymore. All of that's been completely healed. That's the gift of this ascension. Okay? But some of the steps towards my becoming were it started really in 2020. I quit both of the jobs that I was working. It's so funny thinking about this because it's such a different version, but that version had quit both of the jobs that she was working and started traveling full-time in 2020. So the world had said, shut everything down, go get a shot, that nobody knows what's in it, but it's being forced upon because of fear. So I said absolutely not to any of that. Absolutely not to any of that. And I began just traveling full-time, flowing. There were instances where, oh, it's so funny talking about this because I'm in such a different place now. But it's important to share. So one of the instances was, I was at a gas station in Nevada. There was like one gas station. There's like one gas station for like 50 miles or something. And I needed gas. So I went there and that was when everybody was like, there was a mask mandate. And I trying to remember the story because that's all it is a story. But anyways, I went in there to pay for the gas and I wasn't wearing a mask, and there was an elderly guy in there who was trying to essentially tell me to put one on. I said, no, it goes against my spiritual practices, my spiritual beliefs. I don't believe in fear. Ooh, I don't believe in fear. Man, it took me a long time to get there, but oh. Anyways. So the guy, I think he was like a manager or whatever, a manager, store owner, was like telling me to put a mask on. I said it goes against my beliefs. I paid the cashier. Ooh! This feels so good to talk about. I paid the cashier. The guy that was trying to tell me to put a mask on was like telling the cashier guy, basically like, don't let her pay for gas. But I looked at him in the eyes. I looked at him in the eyes and I gave him the cash. And he just did it. He just did it. Because he saw, well, I believe he saw the God in me. And I saw the God in him. And we knew what the right thing to do was. There was another guy who was working, and he ran outside after me as I was pumping the gas. And he was telling me basically, like, I think he said something like, I'm gonna kill my grandmother for not wearing a mask. And he was like yelling at me. He was like trying to berate me. I put my hand up. I said, brother, I love you. He said, I don't love you. And he eventually went back inside. Ooh. There was another instance where I was traveling during this time. And I think this was in South Dakota. I'm pretty sure it was, actually, where there's all the reservations. Oh my gosh. I went into a grocery store and they had, oh my gosh, just considering, they had like thermometer guns that they're pointing at people's foreheads. I said, absolutely not. I said, absolutely not. A gun will not be pointed at my forehead. It looked like a gun, you guys. It looked like a gun. I don't care if it was a thermometer gun. I don't care if it was a temperature gun. I said, absolutely not. I walked out. So there were a few instances where I just said, no, that's not how this is going to occur. Because I knew what was right. I knew freedom was so important. So I'm talking about my journey of becoming an ascended master, my journey of leaving the third dimension, entering into the fifth dimension. For those who are also ascending. There's another instance around this time in New Mexico where Whole Foods, it was a Whole Foods grocery market. And there was someone like standing at the door trying to make people wear these masks. Oh my gosh, now that ooh, there's so many, oh my gosh, there's so much to that. Wearing a mask. Wearing a mask is like, covering your true identity. Oh my gosh. I'm putting all the puzzle pieces together now. Because I didn't really reflect on it so much. until right now. But I said no, like I'm not doing that because it goes against my spiritual beliefs. It goes against being free. It goes against being true. So basically I just skirted right past him, and I got my coconut drink and my snack or whatever, and I went down one aisle, he went down another aisle. I was able to get my items. He ended up catching up to me at one point, and it looked like he was going to try to grab me. And I knew, I was like, oh, you are not going to touch me. That cannot occur. That will not happen. So it obviously didn't happen. It didn't happen. Because I said no. So he looked like he was going to reach and grab me. And I knew, I don't remember if, I might have said it out loud. I don't remember if I did or not. But basically I was like, you're not going to touch me. So I took my items to pay. I was the only person in there not wearing a mask. Took my items to pay. The cashier looked surprised that I wasn't wearing one. But it was good. The guy said he was going to call the cops on me. I don't know if they ever showed up or not. I just got my stuff and left. So I tell you guys these things because of the tribulations that humanity is most likely, is going to be experiencing. Okay? These tribulations of great trust. These tribulations of great trust. These tribulations of great trust. What do we value? What do we value? What do we value? Okay. In order to ascend, from my personal experience, we need to, number one, know that we are light. We are the same light as God. We need to know what light is, true light, true light, true light, true light, true light, true light only. And it's good to be specific about connecting with true light only. True light is Phi. True light is being connected with this wave of cosmic breath. This wave of cosmic breath. This wave of cosmic breath. That's what ascension can feel like. We're being lifted up. We're full of the breath of life. Ascension is the letting go of trauma, becoming lighter and free of what's not really God. which is, I would say, most of the third dimension. Okay. So God to me is Phi. Fly high and soar, embody eagle galore, only after you're done withering on the floor. When you know that you are living and you know what that feels like and is, and stand tall like a tower of light, like a pillar of light, ascension occurs. It's a decision. Ascension is a decision. It's a decision. It's been my intention for several years now, probably since around 2020, where it's been my intention to be a clear vessel for the Most High. Okay, it's been my intention to be a clear vessel for the Most High. And that began with doing healing work. Okay, healing work like Reiki. I did an exorcism before I knew I could even do one. I did things like that. Lots of things like that. Third dimension is not it. The third dimension is not it. We experience the new earth in our hearts. Okay? We experience the new earth in our hearts first. A knowing. It's a knowing that there's something much better. It's a knowing that there's something much better. And we access it. We access 5D. One, I think a lot of us know it. I think a lot of us have known it for a while, that the third dimension is not correct, essentially. So, like, we access 5D by having this knowing and following our true heart. For me, it was a quest of freedom. For me, it was a quest of freedom, truth, and like following that regardless. Like, I did not care really about physical stuff, right? I didn't go to college. Actually, I dropped out after one semester because I started using drugs. Which is like funny to say, but that happened. So I didn't have a care for the world, essentially. Didn't do the normal thing. I really wanted to go to college, but it wasn't for me. And I'm not saying that if you went to college, like, Ascension isn't for you, so nothing like that. I'm just saying that was my path. And talking about how to, like, the shifts that are occurring and moving into 5D. So, talked about my path of becoming an Ascended Master, my path of getting there, in hopes that sharing some of these multidimensional experiences with people will assist them on their journey. So, Ascension occurs in my case because I know that, well, because I know I'm healed, because I know that there's another version of myself that I can just shift into, because God always provides a good way out. And that reminds me of something that I said a long time ago: the way out is in. The way out is in. The way out is in. So, when we finally let go of death, death being the experience of the third dimension, does that surprise anybody? Did people really think the third dimension was life? It's not. The fifth dimension is so profound and pristine and pure and beautiful and right. And all we have to do to get there is let go. There's a version of us that we quantumly shift into through decision, through an identity shift. We have so much help and support to do this. We can call on Ascension teams. We can call on New Earth teams. We can connect with, when we're outside doing our practices, we can connect with the Christ grid. We can connect with the New Earth grid. We can connect with Star Command grid. We can connect with the crystalline grid. We can do all these things to support our ascension journey. I have experienced basically reality like phasing, is what I would call it. So I've experienced that, and I'm preparing to fully shift out. And I've had touches of it. I've had touches of it where it's like to be completely free. I want to talk about the experiences leading up to that. We have to know that, well, at least in my case, I have to know that I cannot be touched by harm because I am love and loved by God. And the journey to know God is a journey. At least it was for me. So letting go of any beliefs around being blocked, letting go of any beliefs about having a fearful identity, letting go of any identities that are misaligned from the truth. God is making it so that